Here we are again at Manco. The debate between former President Donald Trump and current President Joe Biden. Two presidents competing in a debate once more to decide the fate of the universe or something. We're on the abortion segment now. That was something that I got a lot of comments about because I considered it healthcare. That is what it is considered. There's really no reason to argue against that because it is considered healthcare. Regardless, the question that the moderators begin with is about Roe v. Wade. So they start with, I ended the last video off with the question basically, it basically went, this is the first presidential debate since Roe v. Wade was overturned. And the Supreme Court ruled that emergency abortions are allowed in Idaho despite the state's restrictive ban. As president, they're talking to Trump here, would you block abortion medication? Trump starts off with an insane anecdote about, like, everybody wanted it back to the states. Everybody in the world, man.
Complex, but not really complex. 51 years ago, you had Roe v. Wade, and everybody wanted to get it back to the states. Everybody, without exception. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives. Everybody wanted it back. Religious leaders.
It's just like, I can't fact check that. I literally can't. The only people I can find that want Roe v. Wade back are modern day. And then the only people I can find who don't want it back are modern day. Everything I looked up for Roe v. Wade, such as like the majority opinion of the actual Roe v. Wade clause, that was the only thing I could find back when it was delivered of people wanting it back. Of wanting Roe v. Wade, and that was the only thing I could find in general of Roe v. Wade. And I'm sure if it were true 50 years ago that everybody wanted Roe v. Wade, the Supreme Court would have been like, hey, we don't want it, we don't care, shut up, and not codified it. Regardless, Trump says he will allow abortion medication and agrees with the court's decision on emergency abortion. I'm sure that was unexpected for many people, including myself.
Have access to abortion pills. They're used in about 2/3 of all abortions. As president, would you block abortion medication?
First of all, the Supreme Court just approved the abortion pill, and I agree with their decision to have done that, and I will not block it.
He starts talking about after-birth abortion, considering the left radicals because of it, and specifically he brings up the former governor of Virginia, whose name is Ralph Northam, who stated, the infant would be delivered, the infant would be kept comfortable, the infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired, and then a discussion would ensue between the physician and the mother. This is about children who are born with birth defects or are unexpected to live. Yes, this is after birth abortion by default. This is infanticide. AP News defends it with a comment, but Northam was only addressing what happens in cases when a baby is born with severe deformities and has a low chance of survival. There is no reason to kill a child that has already been born. Even if it has deformities, even if it has a low chance of survival, you don't just kill it because this is the United States. We report that in the infant mortality statistics. That's a thing that, like, other countries like Germany do not report. Those kids who are unlikely to live, they don't report them. They as like infant mortality, they consider them part of like miscarriages. We try to save those children. We don't kill them. We have some of the highest like survival chance for children who are unexpected to survive, like outright in the world. I'm pretty sure we have the highest actually. And we try to save those kids. We don't just abort them just because they're unlikely to live. That is fucking horseshit. Ralph is pretty radical here. Yeah, Trump may be going after him because of his radical views, from a propagandist point of view, but like still, This is something that people need to like check Ralph on, because that's a jerk ass behavior. Trump starts talking about how he's a person of the exceptions including rape and all that. He's a person of exceptions, and you have to get elected also.
In the exceptions, I am a person that believes. And frankly, I think it's important to believe in the exceptions. Some people, you have to follow your heart. Some people don't believe in that. But I believe in the exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother. I think it's very important. Some people don't. Follow your heart. But you have to get elected also. And because that has to do with other things. You got to get elected.
I don't think you're supposed to say that quiet part out. But yeah, Trump does say that. A little goofy. And it's finally Biden's time to speak.
Thank you. President Biden?
It's been a terrible thing, what you've done. The fact is that the vast majority of constitutional scholars supported Roe when it was decided. Supported Roe. And that's this idea that they're all against it is just ridiculous. And this is the guy who says the state should be able to have it. We're in a state where in 6 weeks, you don't even know whether you're pregnant or not, but you cannot see a doctor, and have him decide on what your circumstances are, whether you need help.
And then he starts comparing it to civil rights. Like, return abortion to the states. Why not return civil rights to the states? Civil rights were never a state issue. They, well, I mean, considering how the Confederacy works, technically they could be. But the thing is, that's a failure of our part to enact the Constitution. The Ninth Amendment guarantees that rights not mentioned in the Constitution still exist and cannot be, taken away. This is a result of the government ignoring the Ninth Amendment. That is why civil rights was ever considered a state issue. And then civil rights were made into the 14th Amendment. So even if the Supreme Court was like, hey, I hate civil rights, they literally can't do anything about that. We can't really compare it and abortion. Abortion was never a fundamental right. It's a privilege of having health care. Biden started talking about the murder of somebody got murdered by an illegal immigrant, and that Trump went to the funeral. He then brings up, and I'm quoting verbatim, here's the thing, there's a lot of young women raped by their in-laws, by their spouses, by their brothers and sisters. It's ridiculous, and they can do nothing about it. Then they try to arrest them when they cross state lines. I just had to let that one sink in. What? Excuse me? If you guys don't know, I don't know why I had to research this, but because Biden brought it up, I have to actually Google rape statistics. I don't know why he brought up rape statistics. Trump already said he was a man of the exceptions, and one of those exceptions he explicitly mentioned was rape. And only 7% of people are raped by somebody completely a stranger to them that they do not know of. Only up to 25% of everyone. If you're just doing juveniles, it's up to 35, I think, percent are raped by family, and 60% are sexually assaulted by somebody in their social circle. If we just take a look at that, obviously the illegal immigrants would go into that 7%. No? Well, not typically. They're still human creatures, not like as much as people like to paint them as complete vicious murderers or innocent angels or whatever. They're not just going around massacring people. They do join communities. They are human too. So it's an irrelevant statement. There's no need to bring up rape because it's completely irrelevant to the abortion thing. Neither side here is clearly gives a shit about like that type of rape. They neither of them are going, hey, yeah, you should have the baby anyways. That's not an argument either of them made. Is this something Biden prepared for? Regardless, Biden attacks Trump with this, and I don't know why he brought it up. I actually do research on sexual abuse victims. Rain.org says of sexual abuse victims that come to law enforcement's attention, more than a quarter are victimized by a family member, 60% are abused by someone else in their social network. The majority of juvenile victims know the perpetrator, and approximately 34% of perpetrators in case of child sexual abuse are family members. So, why are we even talking about this? Moderator, could you, help me out here?
Staying on the topic of abortion, President Biden.
And that, my friends, is a good moderator. Please stay on topic. Thank you. Biden talks about how he's support. Okay, so they asked the question there are 7 states that do not have any restrictions on abortion. What are your thoughts? And Biden says he supports Roe v. Wade. He talks about Roe v. Wade's trimester system and how he supports it and the abortion going through with it, and explains between a woman and her doctor, a woman and the doctor and the state, whatever. He talks about how founders did not want politicians deciding abortion. Instead, they should be decided by doctors, even though the entire reason behind Roe v. Wade existing was because states had some authority over abortion. That it was an abortion statute in Texas. So Biden's stance on abortion is Roe v. Wade, whatever Roe v. Wade said.
7 states, I'll let you do that. This is the same topic. 7 states have no legal restrictions on how far into a pregnancy a woman can obtain an abortion. Do you support any legal limits on how late a woman should be able to terminate a pregnancy?
I supported Roe v. Wade, which had 3 trimesters. The first time is between the woman and the doctor. Second time is between the doctor and an extreme situation. The third time is between the doctor, between the woman and the state.
Trump is given the chance to speak. He starts talking about afterbirth baby killings again. From the radical Ralph Northam, who is irrelevant to this because Biden has clearly made his position on Roe v. Wade. He doesn't like those types of abortions. Biden claims Roe v. Wade's about emergency abortion care. Never was. He himself explained that it was a trimester system, so it had late-term abortions. And it wasn't about emergency abortion care. It was about privacy of the person to decide if they wanted an abortion or not. He claims Roe v. Wade never had late-term abortion right after that. I don't know why he claimed that, because that's objectively false, but he did. Trump then calls Biden a radical. Biden goes on a rant. For 51 years, that was the law.
We don't think that's a good thing. We think it's a radical thing. We think the Democrats are the radicals, not the Republicans.
For 51 years, that was the law. 51 years, constitutional scholarship said it was the right way to go. 51 years.
51 years of constitutional scholarship said it was the right way to go. Again, I couldn't find any goddamn sources for the second part. The only sources I have are the justices of the ruling. But it has been around since 1973.
And it was taken away because this guy put very conservative members on the Supreme Court. He takes credit for taking it away.
This may seem like a nitpick, but is this really a conservative stance? What is there to conserve when you outlaw Roe v. Wade? Nothing. You're not conserving, you're progressing. Now, the way you're progressing, it might be wrong or radical or whatever, but the conservative stance here would be to keep it. So he starts makes a hypothetical. What would Trump do if Congress passes a universal ban on abortion by the MAGA Republicans when he's president?
What's he going to do? What's he going to do, in fact, if the MAGA Republicans, he gets elected, and the MAGA Republicans control the Congress, and they pass a universal ban on abortion, period, across the board at 6 weeks or 7 or 8 or 10 weeks, something very, very conservative. Is he going to sign that bill? I'll veto it. He'll sign it.
It is what a veto is for, and Trump would veto it because he already made it clear he wants it returned to the states. He wants it to return to the people. Regardless, Congress can't pass a universal ban because the Supreme Court returned it to the states. It's outside of Congress jurisdiction. Yeah, that's the end of the abortion segment. I start talking about something else after this, and I think it's about the border. So, a very huge topic. Who do you think, who do you support on this issue? I think Biden's a little inconsistent. I don't know what the hell Trump was talking about at the first part, or with all of the Ralph Northam stuff. I don't know why he kept bringing it up. Let's make it a little simpler. Biden wants a return to what was. Trump wants to remain with the states, keeping emergency abortion care available. So, which side do you agree on? Or do you have a third opinion? Like, do you want it completely banned? Do you want it completely unrestricted? Stuff like that. What are your thoughts and opinions, guys? I don't know.
Hey, waiting to get right, only leave you left behind. Up goes the early bird soaring down. Scrounge around for whatever worms might be obtainable. Never knew who flew about theirs first. So what's available, not a lot it seems. What you gonna do for it? Anything all means. Type of dedication you gotta have as you're blazing the path. Never know who trailing you, hoping to get familiar with the ways of the things that we do. Ball hard and hold